Welcome to Mad Genius Sessions. Today I'm going to take you through a screen recording of mapping a GPX trail. This one is going to be on Google Earth Pro. You can launch Google Earth through your web browser or the Google Earth Pro application like I've done here. I'm going to map out a new trail on, this is our city, Bangalore, and there's a lot of tracks around this region, looks like. But I'm gonna go way out of town, select a place with a few more tracks and show you in a second. So let's take this region. There's a tamarind grove of some kind over here. Looks like a pretty good place, and there are some tracks and roads over here that lead to tracks. So let's select this and go through it. Now when you go into Google Earth Pro, you can navigate your view either by the buttons over here or the hand wheel over here to pan left, right, up or down, and you can use this zooming, clicking thing to navigate as well. And if you want to go into street view, you can just drag where the streets are and put this man back over here. So with that, we start on the left hand side of Google Earth Pro. You have something called as places. Ideally switch everything off. You either have the blue ticks on or you have the blue ticks off. This is the master folder, which is my places and temporary places, and you can select either of those and create your folder in one of those. To start off, create right click on my places and add a folder. This is your first level of tracks. So here you can see, let's say, Bangalore tracks, right? And you can say okay, and under this you can add a path. Now the path is the actual line that you will follow. We will show you that in a second. Let's say I call this a test path. And it works the same way whether you're on a PC or Mac, Windows or iOS or anything else. You can select the style and color of the line that you will be drawing, the width and opacity, so you can see the track a little better under your line itself. The view and altitude I generally don't mess around with. The measurements I try to keep it in kilometers because in this part of the world it's better to stay with kilometers. And then I click nothing on this. Don't say okay because it's going to close the path that you're trying to create. You want to keep it open, you want to keep it aside so you can view how many kilometers or how many miles you're tracking, and you want to pick a start point somewhere on the road. Let's say you want to start over here, and you know this is a road. You have this box and 4 lines from either side or all sides that you can see, and that denotes that you have started drawing, right? So I'm going to draw a line. Now you see it's a clean yellow. What I'm doing is I'm just taking a space on the map and clicking on it, and the minute I click on it, the previous point and the current point will have a straight line between them. If you want to go back, it's right click. If you want to go forward, it's left click. You can do right click anywhere on the map. I did it on over here, I did it over here, or I can do it over here. It all does the same thing. So let's go ahead, left clicks only, going straight. All of this looks fine. This looks like a road. If I drag the street view over here, you can see the streets are over here, right? So that's how I know this is a road. That's how I can be absolutely sure. This looks like an interesting area to go into, and there are no gates or anything of that sort. You see traffic coming from both sides, so you want to be careful, but looks like this is an abandoned area where you can enter. So this is how you keep creating paths. If you have a sharp turn, make a sharp turn. If you have a curve, put 2 more points on there so you can get in and out of that. So you can zoom also with the scroll wheel on your mouse, and you can select maybe thinner tracks or longer tracks which are wider based on how it looks like to you on the screen. So I'm just going to keep continuing this and going around. If you see some sort of tree cover, you will know that you have to make a reasonable assumption on whether or not that path is rideable. So let me just track this around and come to a point where there's tree cover. So I'm just scrolling on my mouse. You can see that this path goes around the tree, so it's pretty safe to ride. But if there was a tree right in between, you would have to make an assumption whether or not you can ride that. And if you can't make a decision, that's when you go on an alternate path over here. So with that, you keep making a track like this. Be careful not to enter into private lands, compounds, or something of that sort. The shadows are really useful. When you zoom in, you see that these trees have shadows on the sides. That's when you know it's a taller structure. You can always drag the street view in and out, so you know where the streets are. So if you have to quickly bail, you want to be always closer to the street, so you want to be safer or something like that, you can do that as well. What I want to do is just exit out of this corner. This is a very small trail, and I'm going to come right back and almost end where I started, right? So I'm scrolling, I'm zooming out with my mouse, I'm clicking left clicks only, and I come back to the start point. So now I know when I drag this new path window that we created for the test path, that it's 4.36 kilometers, and I can say okay, which basically creates that path for you. Until then, you're in that creation mode. If you want to go back and edit something, you can say right click and get info. You'll come back to this window. You can do the same things as before. If you want to edit a certain point, let's say you wanted to go here and come back, or you know that this road is open, or there's a track here, you can drag those two specific points out in a fashion where you can move those points to make a line for you to go out and back in, right? If you don't want to do that, you can drag those back in again. Make sure the points turn the specific colors you've allocated them. You can select the style and color over here. What I'm going to do is, I've made a huge mistake. I've really screwed this up. So I'm going to say cancel. So none of those changes are now saved, and I can go back, or you can do an undo, etc. You can right click on this and show the elevation profile. This is not much of an elevation profile because mostly all of this is flat, and once I'm done creating the path, I can just say right click again, make sure that this is the only folder and path that you've selected, and you can say save place as. I'm going to save it in my downloads folder and say test path. You want to be sure to save it to KML. This is what I prefer. You can use other formats and do more stuff with it, but KML is what I prefer. So I've saved test path on inside the downloads folder. I then go into something like KML to GPX, and I can choose the file. I've created another test path. This is testpath.kml. So I've selected this. I upload this into the website, and I say convert, and it says I can download the file here, and it's downloaded. This is what you want to send into your phone. Use Drive Mode Dashboard 2, Gaia Maps, OSM and many other applications. You can Google for GPX paths. On some programs, you'll have to download the base map before you can upload the path onto it. But GPX file you've created is basically GPS exchange, meaning that it's a line on a map with a set of coordinates with a start and end point, and that's what you can use on your phone. So hope this helped you. Quick tutorial, and I'll see you on the next Math Genius session. Until then, I'm going to bid you goodbye, and I hope to see you on another Math Genius session.